Alrighty, this is our JAWS group project recording for our film appreciation class. I am Kimber,
I'm JC.
I'm Bryson.
and we did ours over the JAWS film, and it is directed by Steven Spielberg, and the screenplay was written by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb. And it's based on a book actually by Peter Benchley. So he wrote the book and also worked on the screenplay, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that is cool.
The runtime was 2 hours and 4 minutes. And according to IMDb, the genres are survival, thriller, adventure, and drama.
And then a brief summary of all this. In the beginning, it shows a woman skinny dipping, and after minutes in the water, she's eaten by a shark. And then she's considered missing. And then this leads to the chief officer of Amity Island. His name's Martin Brody. He attempts to shut down the beaches because he believes she was attacked by a shark. But the mayor, Larry Vaughn, he was kind of just no, we want to make money. We don't want people not come to the beach. And overruled him because of his belief that tourists would stop coming. Um, After another shark attack on the beach, the oceanographer Matt Hooper and then the fisherman Captain Quint, he offered to help Brody capture the killer shark, and that leads to kind of the battle of nature versus or nature slash man versus shark. So they go on that whole adventure on the boat with the three of them, and then eventually end up killing the shark at the very end after the what's his name? The fisherman had died, but then the oceanographer and the um police ended up surviving.
So
And
what do y'all think about the cinematography for this film?
Uh,
mhm.
I thought the cinematography it generally felt natural. I think Spielberg used a lot of techniques to make the audience feel like they were right there in the water with the characters, like with the shark being around them and stuff. And then the use of the underwater shots and the ways the camera moves, it really added tension to the scene and really, like I said, felt made the audience feel like they were right there in the water with.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it definitely did feel just natural and no crazy like effects or anything that you easily can tell that it's fake. Like it looks all so real.
yeah, and I feel like it's really the parts where it's you can only see people's legs kicking. That was really good to kind of show the tension, but not exactly being too
Hmm.
much, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and then some parts that I really enjoyed, which I've seen this movie tons of times, but I've watched it differently now. After
Mhm.
taking this class, I'm looking for certain things. When they It's like the first scene when all the families are at the beach and they're focusing on certain different characters and you're constantly thinking okay, is the shark gonna get that one or is the shark gonna get that one?
Yeah.
It really made me kind of think about why they did that, and it was pretty cool.
Mm.
Yeah. No, yeah. That was and it was sad, the one part with, the mom was, trying to find her kid, and she was like, "Just go in the water." Yeah, that part was so sad.
Hmm.
But, do y'all wanna talk about, visual design? So just, because I know I wrote down, the shark was obviously, mechanical and, not real. Also the red blood, in the water kind of, added, that dramatic,
Effect to it.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was very, very bright though. That's one thing I noticed. I don't know if maybe it's when they redid the film or something, if it messed up the coloring of it or if it was just like that. But the red the blood was very, very red orange,
Mhm.
which I noticed, but it worked for what it needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Also, the shark's, fin was kind of that was another, thing I noticed too, I
Mm.
guess from, that perspective, but Hmm. What else?
The one thing that I really did kind of notice, and I still don't really know how they did it, is since there's not like a ton of visual effects, like special effects in the film, the videos of the or the clips of the sharks when they're like underwater, or the shark when it's underwater, like attacking the cage and stuff like that. I wonder how they made those because they look real. So
Mhm.
I mean, did they actually have a real shark attacking it somehow or something? Because it looks so real and it doesn't look like computer generated or anything at all. So that was so cool.
That was cool 'cause now that I think about it, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but, 47 Meters Down, I don't know if y'all have seen that movie,
Mm-mm.
but,
Seen a
it
little bit.
yeah, it's, like, more recent about, like, a shark, like, these girls go, like, in this, like, cage or whatever, and I feel like even Jaws, like, even it with it being I wanna say it was in the 1970s, I wanna say, was, like
74, I think.
1975.
7
Okay.
okay, gotcha. Um, but it's crazy because I feel like they did it so good, like, they also, like it really looked real, like you said, like, it's kinda
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, no, I agree.
The main thing that I really, like, noticed is how strong and how important the music is in this film. I mean, it's so iconic with the shark sound, the "dunna, dunna" sound in
Mhm.
the background, and during action scenes and stuff like that, the music is just, I mean, amazing, really. But then also, like, the background noise and the ambience and stuff is also really strong, and it's I think the music is one of the top parts of this movie, really.
I agree.
I wrote
No,
down something like that. It was a scene in the beginning of the movie. It was when the lady was out in the water swimming alone, and then the music comes in, and it added like a sense of isolation where the lady was at, just swimming around by herself in the water. And
It
then,
really adds to that tenseness.
yeah,
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I feel like honestly, even if you haven't seen Jaws, you know that sound. For
Yeah,
somehow I
exactly.
feel like everybody knows, like, that the music
Mhm.
or whatever.
mm,
Just funny.
a lot of movies off of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
the monolith from, uh, Space Odyssey. Like, that was so,
Oh, yeah.
like, used, and then
Mm,
now, like, the Jaws sounds and stuff are so familiar with everyone.
Mhm. Yeah. Um,
Um, Editing.
mm,
I have some notes about the editing. There's not a lot of crazy, like, cuts or anything, but there is one scene in particular that I noticed that had some really cool editing. It's when they're on the boat and it keeps cutting to the sheriff. Um, it keeps cutting back and forth to the sheriff, but every time it cuts back to the sheriff, it's a little bit closer. And it's like,
mhm.
I don't know if y'all like noticed that, but it's like them fighting. I think it's them fighting the shark or the shark coming up, and then it will cut back to the sheriff and then back to the shark, and then it's
Mhm.
a little bit closer, and it was a cool, like, editing sequence to where you really notice like, hey, he's getting really scared.
Yeah. No, yeah, that I honestly, yeah, I forgot about that part. But yeah, that's like
Mhm.
a good example of like the editing because I feel like it was like really shown at that part for sure.
Yeah.
Trying to think of another example. I feel like just when like the shark attacks happen, like there's kind of a lot happening. Like it's like the shark attack, then the people on the island and like they're like kind of like everyone's like get out of the water, like all that. Just the back and forth, back and forth. That was like good too. For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm,
What about the dialogue? Do y'all have any notes about the dialogue?
I do not.
I actually don't. What did yours say?
Um, Most of it was pretty natural feeling to me, except for the one scene of the mom when she goes to the beach in her all black and her veil and everything. It did feel a
Oh,
little like obviously it's all scripted, but it felt
right.
scripted
Yeah.
and it was a little bit dramatic for me, which I mean, it's supposed to be in that scene, but
Mhm.
just didn't feel natural.
Yeah, it didn't feel like something that would really happen because it's
Yeah.
not his fault that her kid was, but no, yeah, I definitely agree. Do y'all feel like the acting was, like, good overall? Or
I
'cause,
mean,
like, that was something I was, like, kind of, like, I don't know why, but I was like, I wonder, like, cause I haven't seen it in, like, years, like, I literally haven't
Yeah.
seen this was the first time I watched it in a really long time, and so it almost felt like I was rewatching it, so I was like, I wonder if it's gonna be, like, as good as it was when I was a kid, like, as scary
yeah,
Yeah.
as and, like, I feel like even the characters, like, it was still, like, kinda scary for me now, but, yeah, I feel like the acting was, like, pretty good,
yeah,
but, yeah. Um,
I love the character Quince. He's so funny.
mhm. Yeah, he is funny. Trying to think. I was gonna ask y'all, like, so on one of, like, the questions that we had for, like, the other, like, I don't know what it's called, the one, like, we went to the movie theater and had to watch the movie or whatever that
film
The film
experience.
experience report.
yes, the film experience thing, there was a question and I was gonna ask y'all, is the setting so powerful and dominant that it upstages the characters? Like, I was gonna see what y'all thought about that.
Mm,
Um,
I didn't think so.
I don't really think so because I feel like a
Mhm,
beach is so familiar to everyone. I
true.
mean, like, it's most of everyone's been to a beach and knows how it is, and there's
Yeah,
not anything, like, crazy I don't know, like a crazy castle or something
right.
in
Yeah,
it that makes it, like, unfamiliar. So I feel like the setting really didn't affect it, and that's what helps it to where you can focus on the characters and the
mhm.
storyline, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I was just gonna ask y'all that because I was interested to see what y'all think.
Yeah, I think the plot and the music are the 2 strongest aspects of this movie.
Mhm, and I think the characters really make it. Like, I feel like it wouldn't be
Mhm.
the same if there wasn't, like, the funny characters or,
It
if the
kinda
3
offset it, yeah.
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Are y'all ready to do the general reaction to the film, or do y'all have
Yeah,
anything else to talk
I
about?
think we'll have to start wrapping it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like it? Why or why not? I said I really enjoyed the film and it was captivating because of, like, the suspense and tension. And it honestly doesn't very little except for that one scene where he's in the cage, but it very little, like, shows the shark. So it kind of, like, makes you, like, curious for a really long time up until, like, that point, and that's something, like, I really liked about it, and I also said I really liked the music in it as well.
Mm. I liked it too because it kept you on the edge of your chair. You're just waiting to see what was gonna happen.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
I love thriller movies like this, and I've loved this movie since I was a kid,
So,
and I love the jump scares and all that stuff and the tenseness of you never know when something's gonna happen.
Mhm.
Um, I was gonna tell y'all, if y'all really like this movie, there's another movie, that's essentially the same plot, but instead of a shark, it's an alligator or a crocodile,
Oh.
and it's called Lake Placid, and it's pretty pretty close to the same storyline, but it's based at a lake with
Mhm.
a crocodile, so and it's really cool. It's a giant crocodile and stuff. It's a really good movie if y'all wanna look at it. It's called Lake Placid.
Yeah, wait, I actually wanna watch that now. That sounds
Yeah, it's really
interesting.
good. It was one of my favorite
I'll
movies
look
as a kid.
Mhm, that's cool.
write that down.
The next question it was on here was, would you suggest it to a friend? And I was like, I said yes because I feel like everyone should see Jaws at least once in
Yeah,
their life.
at
Like, you
least
have to.
Mhm. It's just
So,
it's a cult classic that you
yeah.
once you see it, more things will make sense in other movies.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then the last one was, would you watch it again? And I would definitely say yes for me.
Yeah.
watched it up 50 times already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen it tons of times.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the last question, guys, on the thing.
Yeah, this was a fun group project.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I liked this as like our final like group for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. There was one last thing that I wanted to kind of mention that I wonder if y'all kind of learned. The term juxtaposition was completely new to me before this class,
Oh, same.
and I tried to look for that in the film. And one thing that I really noticed is it's not actually in the film, but it's the Jaws poster of the girl swimming on top of the water and then the shark coming up underneath her. I feel like that's like a perfect example of the juxtaposition of this movie because you have your happy swimmer just doing her thing on top and then the scary shark that's coming up below her. It's
Yeah.
that's a good, opposite,
it's side
like
by side.
happy, yeah, happy swimmer and terrifying death machine coming up to get her. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Learning what that is and how it's used, like, that was cool.
Yeah, I feel like like, I've seen stuff like that in movies, but I never knew, like, the term for it. So now,
Yeah,
like,
that it was a thing, like,
us
it's they do that
yeah,
on purpose.
yeah, I was like, "Wait, I didn't realize," but yeah, no, that's cool for
yeah.
sure.
Well, guys, I think we touched on a bunch of cool stuff, and, thank y'all for being my group
Yep.
Yeah,
partners.
yeah,
Y'all,
guys. It was fun.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.